Well, hello there. Welcome once more to Kwancho's Kitchen. And if this is your first time stopping by, I would like to say a very warm Akara to you. Yes, friends, I made this Koose and I'm sharing it with you. I have another recipe on here, but I just made it again and I just thought to share with you because that was the beginning of my channel. This is so good. This is what Nigerians call Akara. This is just beans. Ghanaians use black-eyed peas to make this. It is fried. Very, very nutritious, high protein food. Pairs perfectly with this Hausa cocoa here. What I like most sometimes is to even have it just with honey mustard sauce, just on its own. So good. Try this. I know you will love it. Come along with me and see how I made this. I have here 1 pound of beans, which is about 2 cups. Black-eyed peas, that is what we would normally use in Ghana to make Koose or Akara. So that is here, and I am just going to transfer it here into a bowl. So I'm just going to rinse this. I'm just going to transfer my beans that I just rinsed into the blender, and this is how we are going to peel it. Normally you would want to soak it, and then peel it the next day, but that is a lot of work. Just going to add enough water here to cover the beans. I think I'll add some more, so just to cover the beans. This is not to measure, you don't need to measure or anything, this is just to peel it. I'm going to go ahead and cover my blender. So now, using the pulse setting on the blender, we are going to peel the beans. So just like this, we're going to run it through until almost all the grains, if not every grain, is peeled, and then we'll proceed. And just like that, the beans is peeled. I'm just going to pour some water in here. And that should help bring the skin of the beans to the surface. Empty it into a strainer. You don't want to end up getting your beans through the drain. And we are going to repeat this process until we are only left with the beans and all the skins are removed. So with every rinse, you get more skin off until you know that you definitely have enough skin removed. And then you just soak your beans. I think this is enough at this point. I'm going to transfer into a bowl and add some water. Just to cover it, you want to put as much water as possible because the beans is going to swell. So I'm going to be soaking the beans overnight. Just let it stay until the next morning, and the next day this is how it looks like. Just like you see, it has some bubbles on the surface. That is all the gases in the beans coming up, and that is the main reason I like to soak it, so you don't get gassy or bloated when you eat it. So I'm going to rinse it now. I just drained the water and I'm just going to give it about 2 or 3 more rinses, and then we'll blend it. So I typically strain it in the strainer at this point just to make sure that I know that I don't have that much moisture on the beans, because you really want to gauge how much water you add in your beans to blend. If it's watery, your texture in the beans is going to be a little funny. You wouldn't like it. So that is set aside, and here are the ingredients you will need to blend your beans with to make your koose. So I have a half of a large onion. I'm using a red onion, but you could definitely use any kind that you like. I'm just going to chop it and put it in the blender. So to this, I'm going to add some ginger. This is organic ginger, and I'm using about a thumb size and just a little bit extra. And this is going to bring the heat in it. I'm trying to cut across the grain, cut it in a shorter length to make sure that the threads in the ginger is completely blended, especially if you don't have a powerful blender. And to that, I've added 2 chilies. These are not very spicy. I'm using them just for more of color anyway. You could use half of a habanero pepper if you want it very spicy, and a little bit of red bell pepper, or just the habanero, and it's going to be perfect. I'm also adding in here half of a Maggie cube. Feel free to omit it. You could use shrimp powder in it, or just your salt. It's still going to be delicious. Then add your peeled beans. Add some water. This is about 2 tablespoons of water, just to help it turn. Cover and blend. Pour it into your bowl. Yeah, you want it as thick as you possibly can. So far as your blender can propel, then please let it be as thick as you possibly can have it. So now I'm using a spatula to make sure I get everything out of the blender. So scrape everything out, just like I'm trying to do. I think we could use a little bit more salt, so I'm just adding about a quarter teaspoon of salt. You want to aerate this, bring some air bubbles in. Dear fam, this step is very necessary in you achieving the perfect texture for your koose or akara. You need to introduce some air into your batter or your mixture. So using a whisk or a wooden spatula, whatever you have, try to beat it until it is light and fluffy before you fry, just like this. So I have my oil on fire already. It is hot, and I'm just going to be using a large spoon to scoop. This is a serving spoon, not just a regular tablespoon. That is what I typically use to fry my koose. So you can make it as big as you can. You can use a serving spoon if you want it very big, or you can use a tablespoon, or even a scoop like an ice cream scooper, and that is going to be perfect as well. So you see how it rises right to the surface when I put it in, because the oil, for one, is very hot, and of course our mixture is very light and fluffy. We have a couple here. Hey, oh, this is beautiful. Perfection. Once your koose rises to the surface, it is very important for you to constantly turn it or flip it like I'm using. I like to use a skewer, a kebab skewer. You could use a wooden one or a metal one, as I have. A fork, whatever makes it easy for you to turn, just keep turning it until you get a beautiful golden color. Constantly turning it ensures that every side of it is cooked, so it's not burnt, and then the inside will end up not being cooked. When the inside is not cooked, you open it, it's still going to be very runny, very raw in there, and that's not what you want. So just look at this. Beautiful golden. Yes. This is like you going to your ajia to get your delicious hot koose. Yes, and our cocoa is ready. Just look at this. I hope this makes you want to try it. It smells amazing here. I have just transported myself onto the streets of Ghana with this, So the first batch is done, and we are going to fry the next batch. Normally when it sits for too long, your bean mixture, this water in it separates a little bit, and you don't want that, so you would want to just quickly give it a quick whisk before you introduce it into the oil again, just to make sure the texture on your next batch is just as perfect. In my first Koose recipe that I shared with you, I added an egg in there. You can put an egg in it, or you can just fry it this way. If you are very crafty, very skilled enough, you can even make a little hole in each of the Koose that you are frying, and just beat your egg, add a little salt, and then just drop a little bit in there, like the Koose salads, especially for this red kind of Koose do. That is really up to you. I'm not that crafty. I've tried it before and it separates, so I'm not even going to try to do that. So whatever you think you can do, just do it. Your Koose is just going to be amazingly delicious either way. So just like that, our second batch is done. Just look at how beautiful it is. And did you hear the crunch as it fell in there with the others? Fried to perfection. Perfection. I hope you try this. This is very simple. You can make it with your eyes closed almost. Yes. Please share this video. Give me a thumbs up. If this is your first time watching me, my name is Kwanchua, and making simple, replicable meals like this is my passion, and I hope this convinces you to join my family. I truly appreciate you all. Thanks so much for watching, and until I come your way next time with something delicious, be loving, be kind, be happy.